Welcome, everyone, to this week's chat about Onward. And look what I'm holding in my hand. It is the book. See all the pages? It's Onward, and it came. It arrived to me on Friday afternoon, surprisingly early. If you find my page on Facebook or Instagram, you can see my ecstatic moment of opening the package and finding it. So today I am going to chat with you a bit about self-care and perhaps an exploration of why we have such a hard time taking care of ourselves. And I'm going to give you an activity to do to help you take better care of yourself. And it's not just an injunction to eat kale and, take a walk or exercise. It's something you can do right now, this evening, sitting down peacefully and quietly. So first, I want to thank you for being here, invite you to make comments in the comments section. Even though this video is not live, I will read those comments and feel much more in community if you share something. So, as you know, because you're here, this video event is in celebration of and to share Onward, which is my newest book on cultivating emotional resilience in educators. And really, it's about cultivating emotional resilience in anybody. Anybody can use this book and the accompanying workbook. And the reason behind this book is twofold. There are two very closely connected reasons. The first is that resilience, the ability for us to thrive in spite of challenges, is so deeply connected to happiness and joy, and that is our birthright. We deserve happiness and joy. It's why not? We're in this amazing planet on it. It's beautiful. We have so much joy at our fingertips. Why not? The second reason for this book is because as we increase our resilience and our ability to thrive in spite of challenges, we will be more able to build the kinds of equitable schools that so many of us are yearning for, working to create. The ability to transform our schools and really to create a more just and equitable world is completely entwined with our resilience reserves, with our ability to be resilient. Mark your calendar right now. In a week, on May 1st, from 5:30 until 6:30, I'm hosting a virtual YouTube right here release party for Onward. Even though I have it already by then, if you've pre-ordered it, you should have it. By the way, you can pre-order now on my publisher's website. That's Wiley, WILEY.com. And I have a promo code for you to get 20% off. The code is ONWRD. So that's better than what you'll get on Amazon, and you'll be buying from the publisher directly. But mark your calendars, because next week we're going to have a virtual release party and be all kinds of fun and behind the scenes and secrets from my writing life, and you'll get to meet my husband and son and hear their opinions about Onward. So, as I said, tonight, right now, we're talking about self-care. Just take a moment and register for yourself. Think to yourself, what does that mean to you? What is self-care for you? If you'd like to make comments, I would love to read those. Just what does self-care mean to you? My hunch is that we all have some pretty solid ideas about what self-care means to us. Again, the question for me is, why don't we take care of ourselves, or why don't we take better care of ourselves? Because the great majority of us know what we could or should be doing to take care of ourselves. I don't think it's that we don't know. I think we know why we should. I wonder about how much we want to take care of ourselves, what willingness we have, and that's where I think things get interesting. Most people, I believe, don't give themselves the kind of self-care that they know that they need or want because they don't feel that they deserve it. They don't feel that they're worthy of that kind of self-care. Many of us feel that our value is tied to our output, and that if we don't work hard, people won't respect us or like us or want us or love us. And then what happens is we don't say no, and we overcommit, and we take on too much work. And I'm thinking about this topic as it comes up for many of us at the end of the year, which is when I'm recording this. Right now it's late April. And as all of the end of the year stuff comes up, there are more celebrations and final retreats and even learning opportunities and meetings and planning, closing up this year, planning for next year, and celebrations with kids and colleagues and parents and personal requests for our time, as well as many of us have friends and family who might be having their own graduations or celebrations. It's just a busy time of year. And it is a time of year where learning how to say no might be a really powerful form of self-care. And that's what I want to go into deeper a little bit more right now, is how to say no, why to say no. This is all about taking care of yourself. One simple way to think about this, one way that's helped me, is that when you say no to something, you're actually saying yes to something else. You're opening up possibility to say yes to something else, to make more time and space in your life for something else. So right now, just take a moment to think about something that you have either been asked to do or you suspect you'll be asked to do. Attend a retirement party. Attend a planning meeting for something for next year. And think about what you would be able to say yes to if you said no to that. Even if it's something that you know you want to do and that you're clear, what might you be able to say yes to if you said no to that? Perhaps you're asked to attend a planning meeting for next year's social committee, because at your school you have long been concerned with the lack of a sort of feeling of community, and you've really wanted to participate in a committee that will address that. If you said no to that, what might be possible on that Thursday afternoon? What might you be able to do that might be taking care of yourself? Again, I'm not trying to dissuade you not to attend that invitation, but just becoming more aware of what you could say yes to that might fall into the domain of self-care. Now, take a moment to think about something that either you've been invited to or you anticipate being invited to that you would like to say no to. And notice what comes up for you. Maybe right away you're aware of, but if I said no, I'd be letting them down. Or people might get disappointed. Or I would miss out. I want to be there. Or somebody might get angry with me. Just notice what comes up for you. And I want to make some suggestions. I want to offer you some ways to think about what comes up for you as well as for other people. First, you might let people down. They might be sad that you're not there. They might be hurt. Some people might actually get angry. You can say no kindly and thoughtfully. You can hear their responses and you can acknowledge them and you can live with those responses. And you can also let them take care of their own emotional response. That's their stuff. And in some ways it's only kind. It is the kindest thing to do to let them take care of it. By saying no, you're taking care of yourself. You might be modeling for them what they have a hard time doing. Now, if people get angry, you have permission to remove yourself from their aggression. There's a difference between disappointment and hurt and anger and aggression. But you can say no, you can hear their response, and you can remember that sometimes saying no is what is allowing you to say yes to something else. That might be self-care. At its root, a struggle to say no often has to do with our sense of self-worth. Resilient people have a tremendous sense of self-worth, of self-esteem, and of self-regard. This is what all of the research on resilient people has shown. And I want you to know, I did read a lot of that research because I wanted to make sure I was giving you research-founded, tried, and tested evidence and practices. So resilient people have a strong commitment to preserving their self, their health, to taking care of themselves, to saying no. This is about learning how to set boundaries. Next time someone asks you to do something, here are my suggestions. Now I'm going to get concrete. Maybe you want to take notes because you might be asked to do things coming up, right, in this season. Or maybe you'll just remember, or you can rewatch this video. So the next time someone asks you to do something, first, don't respond in the moment. Say, let me think about that and I'll get back to you. And you might say, I'll get back to you within a day or two. Give them a little time framing, but give yourself some time to think about it. And in that time, ask yourself over and over, what do I want? What do I want? When you ask that question, notice the thoughts and the feelings that come up for you, such as obligation, fear of not being wanted, fear of disappointing others, fear of someone else's anger. And then ask yourself again, what do I want? Just notice and acknowledge everything that comes up. Maybe what comes up is, I'm conflicted. Part of me really wants to be there. The other part doesn't. Just keep asking yourself that question and listening. And it might take a while to hear that voice clearly, but keep asking. This is a really hard practice. I have a really hard time doing this because to ask the question, what do I want, feels for me like such a selfish question. How can I ask that? I'm so committed to community, to transformation, to collective, to you, to other people. So asking myself over and over, what do I want? What's the difference between me and my broader commitments and community? It's really hard. I am by no means an exemplary role model for saying no or taking care of myself all the time. I'm getting better. I'm on a very steadily improving trajectory, but it is hard. And this is the question I ask myself all the time. What do I want? The wonderful, brilliant, evocative poet, writer, activist Audre Lorde has some words about this that move me deeply. And I'm going to share these words on a card that you can print out on my Facebook page. So go there if you would like. Audre Lorde. If you don't know her writing or her poetry, I strongly encourage you to find it. Audre Lorde says, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is an act of self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare." Caring for myself is an act of self-preservation. I think about that a lot. I think about the fact that it is a political stance, especially as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, to say, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm really tired, guys. I love you, but I'm going to lie down in my bed and watch Netflix. And I'm not going to make dinner. You're old enough, that's to my kid. You're old enough to go make yourself some food. I'm exhausted. That is so hard for me to do. Just as it's so hard sometimes to say no to many other requests. And as I said, I'm on a steadily improving trajectory. And every time I say no, I'm saying yes to being able to do the work that I feel like is my greatest contribution. And I have to share that last year when I was writing Onward, here it is, my baby, all 378 pages of it. Last year when I was writing Onward, I had to say no to so many people and requests and invitations. And it was really hard. And I kept telling myself, saying no and disappointing people sometimes is part of what I need to do in order to create this book, to say yes to this book. It's not easy. That is what I want to share with you today. These reflections are in chapter 6 of Onward because taking care of yourself is one of the 12 habits of an emotionally resistant educator, and therefore gets a whole chapter, chapter 6. The workbook also has an entire chapter with many activities to help you put these ideas and this theory into practice. Again, please mark your calendars. Join me on May 1st for a virtual release party. I've got all kinds of little things that I'm going to incorporate into it to make it fun. Bring a spritzy water drink or a glass of wine if you want, and join me there. And again, in the comments here, you will see the discount code for the book in case you haven't gotten it, or order it from your local independent bookstore. They can usually get your books in just a couple of days. I'm really wanting to promote independent bookstores these days. I go into mine all the time and browse and talk to the wonderful people who work there. And so please consider calling up your independent bookstore. They might even ship it directly to you. Thank you for joining me here. I would love to hear your comments, please, because then I'll feel less lonely in my little recording bubble here. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and let me know what you say no to, either here or somewhere else where you know to reach me. Bye, y'all.